You don't know how to flirt, do you?
Guess not.
Well, what are you gonna do about it?
One day we're gonna look back on this and laugh, hey baby. One day we're
I just want what's best for my daughter, so it's gonna end right now.
If this was the last time you're gonna see me, what would you say?
Well, I just thought
Amanda?
you should know that only you amaze me,
It's been a long time.
baby.
20 years.
'Cause I am running, I am running, I am running wild. I am running, I am running wild.
You weren't just someone I loved back then. You are
Over you.
the very best of me.
You have to hand it to Nicholas Sparks. He certainly knows romance, and I think this is a great idea to explore the idea of lost love revisited. Who doesn't have someone they feel got away? And if maybe things had worked out, life today would be different. And I think this movie seems to do a good job of addressing that wish. However, there's an unfortunate behind-the-scenes situation here that I don't think has been resolved on screen. Paul Walker was originally supposed to star in this film, apparently, and James Marsden took over for him. And while I think James Marsden is a somewhat good substitute for Paul Walker, visually, of course, nothing can take Paul Walker's place. But while I can see him being a good fit to take over a role from him, just on paper and just straightforward. With this anchor in the past here, I don't think it's working. And that's largely because of the actor they've cast as the younger version of that male character. And that's this actor, Luke Bracey. And to truth be told, I don't think Luke Bracey looks like a young version of Paul Walker either. Both Paul Walker and James Marsden, I mean, all three men are obviously attractive, and I guess maybe that's how Hollywood felt. They were like, oh, they're all kind of attractive in the same way. But I'd be like, there's frames and builds, there's a physicality about people, and Luke Bracey is just bigger than both Paul Walker and James Marsden. Maybe you could argue he doesn't work out as much anymore, so he shrank a little bit. But he just has, both Paul Walker and James Marsden, I think in particular, have small frames. They're lean, that's why I think Paul Walker had such a great career in sports movies with like surfing and being extreme sports, because that body type tends to go to that field. Whereas Luke Bracey looks more like a football player, soccer, not even soccer. He's just a bigger guy. And he certainly doesn't look like he grew up to be James Marsden. So while I was watching the trailer, that kept taking me out of it. I was like, I love this idea of revisiting a lost love. What could have been, maybe will still be, but yet that's not the guy you fell in love with. This is some new guy who's just stolen his identity, and you just want it to be him, so I guess you're going along with it. That would be a hilarious twist. I think the casting with Liana Liberato and Michelle Monaghan is a little better, but even still, I think I would have gone with much different casting on the younger actors, because they just simply don't look like the older versions, and they're not the name talent. I understand that Luke and Liana are a hot young couple. But again, it's what I talked about a little bit with Love, Rosie, that Sam Claflin, Lily Collins film, where it's like two people who are just, too much of the same model attractive. And I think you have that going on a little bit with Luke and Liana. Whereas I feel James Marsden, he's the modelly good-looking guy, where Michelle Monaghan has more of a realistic beauty. She's more relatable. And so that's a good Hollywood casting match in terms of, for a romance, in terms of, the basic stereotypical look. But again, what's taking me out of this is just it's a casting issue, and I just don't feel that even if Paul Walker had, not tragically died, still would have been a problem for this movie. That Luke Bracey just simply, and I don't know who Luke Bracey really looks like. I don't know what older actor you could cast, because actors tend to be on the smaller side in terms of their frame. It's just who goes into the business. It's a very interesting discussion about what personality types are drawn into acting, because it's such a risky profession, and there's such a strong chance that it won't turn out and you'll have nothing. It's very hard to build a safety net into the pursuit of an acting career. I think John Hamm is a very rare, and Harrison Ford are rare examples of bigger guys who did go for it. But of course, there's the rumor, that Harrison Ford is a bit of a casual drug user, and John Hamm was the drama teacher. I think John Hamm has a different personality than Don Draper, or well, maybe not. Don Draper is quite the destructive artistic personality, right? But I mean that you would expect that kind of person to usually have. It's really fascinating. It's a whole other discussion. But I'm curious to what you guys think. Are you able to look past the casting, or do you think I'm crazy? Does Luke Bracey and James Marsden totally look like they could be the same guy? Write your thoughts down below. Thank you for tuning into this trailer review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.